what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Mark Doxey and Ranty Flat Earth. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Hello. Doing okay, thank you. And yourself?
Very well, no complaints. Right, you, Mark, you good?
Mark still here?
Sorry, yes, I'm still here.
How are you doing?
Great. And yourselves?
Very well. Very well indeed. Well, we've only got a couple of you here, but we might as well rattle our way through housekeeping. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
No,
Well,
I haven't.
Well, it's been a sunny day and there's been some nice ladies out. Is that kind of the curvature that you're talking about?
I've got to do it with everyone, haven't I? Earth-based curvature.
Ah, are they? Oh, you mean in relation to the Earth? Right, okay. No.
No? Pressurized system next to a vacuum?
0.
Nah. Can't find it.
Gravity? What about gravity? Any signs of that?
I know that if an apple drops to the floor,
What about
some
coconut?
people would say that would be gravity.
Hey, plain truth. Good to
All
have
right,
you.
Travis. Very well.
So is that a yes? Was there a sign of gravity that we were going through? Is that a yes?
Locals apparently see gravity. Flat earthers don't. So that's where we're at.
Sure you don't mean presuppose as opposed to see or experience?
Well, they kind of
call it.
They want to see gravity.
There's a big difference though. I want to see unicorns.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's move on.
We-
Self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We're still waiting on somebody getting back to us about that.
Nope.
No, not on the panel. Okay, fair enough. Bill Miller? Any signs of Bill Miller?
There's a great blues band called the Bill Miller Blues Band. I found them on Facebook the other day.
Is alleged to be an ex-flat earther that's gone underground.
Oh no, this guy just plays the guitar.
Any
Well,
oversight?
he must have dug himself to Australia.
Any overground signs of Bill Miller? Is that a no?
No.
We move on. What about the presupposition itself? What about radius? Any signs of R, gentlemen?
No signs of R.
Can't find it.
No.
No? I think that's pretty much it then, I think that concludes housekeeping.
However,
Oh, here we go.
if there's a glober in the actual side chat that's listening to this that has any proof, scientific proof of any of the things that we've just talked about, please jump on the debates, click the link, and tell us about it.
So what do you know, plain truth? You got any more coconuts to smash over people's heads?
No, I've just got my buddy challenging me on the 24-hour Antarctica sun. So that's what I posted the question for in the chat earlier this morning.
Right,
I know that I've seen some videos on it, but I was just wondering if you guys had any ones that you favored.
Say that again.
I the whole thing?
Yeah, pretty much. You were really quiet.
Oh, sorry. I said a buddy of mine is challenging me on the Antarctica sun, 24 hours. So I had posted in the chat whether or not you guys had any favorite videos to refer to.
Oh, definitely. My favourite fake 24-hour Antarctica sun video is the one with the sort of Casio watch. You know the one I mean?
Doesn't ring a bell. The one he sent me was this one that was time lapse, and it had this guy introducing it, and you have this time lapse of like 2 minutes or so, and it was supposed to be the entire day. Rotating.
Clear as crystal. Thanks for letting us all know. Didn't hear a word of that.
There's a lot of background noise somewhere.
It might be me. I'll go on.
No worries.
There's one Antarctica sun where they film it 24 hours, but at the start, it's obviously summertime, and 24 hours later, there's a whole load of snow on the mountain that couldn't have just fallen in one 24-hour day. Does anybody remember that one?
Yeah, it's been claimed that it's obviously been cropped in, you know, to prove the 24-hour sun, but
I don't know the one with the Casio watch, though.
I would play it, but I just know that every single person that's ever played it gets a copyright strike.
Okay, how's it? Is it on YouTube? Yeah.
Yeah, if you just type in 24-hour sun, it's got the watch with the sun behind it in the picture in the thumbnail. So yeah, you can't miss it.
Well, we are depending on other people doing it and accepting their word for it, whether it's a fake or whether it's real.
Sounds familiar? How did this subject come up anyway? I think it's gone to a dead end because it was Plain Truth's mate that was challenging him to find this, and now he's on mute. So it's like, okay. I mean, if you want a bit more background info on it, my most popular video is an interview with a guy called Robert Shortman, who spent, I'm going to say 18 months, but it wasn't consecutively, 12 months at once in Antarctica, and his job was a plumber. So he was responsible for all of the heating and basically keeping them all alive in what was very cold weather at times. Not always, I might add. But yeah, it's well worth checking out that interview. I mean, from his testimony, he would say that there is no 24-hour sun. It's complete nonsense. He never saw that happen ever in the 12 months that he spent down there.
But he didn't spend the time down there as a flat Earth or globe Earth researcher, did he? He was just plumbing it. He's going by what he remembers.
Right.
Or what he had noticed. Yeah.
Correct. So he didn't have, if he'd have been a flat earther down there, he'd probably got a time lapse or something to back up what he's saying. Now, when he was down there, like you say, he was down there effectively on business as a plumber, keeping the rig heated to his preference of temperature. But yeah, so that was his job. And the only way I can phrase it is to say that I would have noticed that were sort of, to paraphrase what I was saying, I would have recognised if the sun was going all the way around me. It didn't. It rose and it fell pretty much like you'd expect it to rise and fall anywhere else, but just it did it on the horizon. In other words, it didn't rise very high. So that was his account of what he saw in terms of the 24-hour sun. Now, if there was one, I'd expect it to be, you tend to notice those sorts of things. And he didn't. That's not what he described at all.
Nathan?
Yes.
Yes. You have a rule that you don't really ban anything that goes on in the side chats.
I know, I've been banning the Isa Mahalski sock.
Good, because there's one there that's the Isa Mahalski, the child diddling pedo, and then he diddles children non-stop all day long is the things he's coming out with. I really think you should get rid of that guy.
No, I have been periodically, but highlighting it is now obviously going to make him want to do it even more, but there we go. I can't really win in that regard.
Okay.
There's another thing that annoys me in the side chat.
Oh, here we go. Go on.
There's a very unpleasant reference to Down syndrome. Regularly appears. I think that's worse than the F word. You know the word I'm thinking about. Yeah,
but on the whole, the chat is the chat, and there's really nothing I can do about it. It will be demonstrated any moment when another similar reference comes up as a screen name. So, You know, I gave up on it a long time ago. If people specifically request I get rid of somebody or a sock of somebody, I will. You know, I'm not that precious about it. But ultimately speaking, I've resigned myself to the fact that there's limited to no control over what goes on in the chat.
Yeah. I'm just saying I find it extremely offensive.
Sure. Yeah, there's plenty of offensive stuff going on in the chat. It's one of the reasons I put it up, not because I want to offend people, but I want to show what we have to put up with in this little corner of the internet. The kind of crap we have to deal with is unreal. And short of sitting literally monitoring the chat the entire time while you're trying to produce a show, you can't keep on top of it. Now, yes, you can have moderators, but ultimately all you end up with moderators is everybody getting banned, and you just end up with spanners only going up and down the chat, and you're like, okay, that's not what this show is about at all. You know, I want all opinions. So yeah, it's a fine line, Mark. You know, you're damned if you do.
I know what you're saying.
You're damned if you don't. You're damned if you do. So I don't, basically.
I know, but with everything that's been going on recently about the accusations here, there, and everywhere, just seeing things like that in the side chat about children, you know, I mean, that kind of just that's beyond what you would call satisfactory to just listen, sit and watch, because there are people that are watching. There's 150 watching. I'm sure a lot of them pay attention to the chat, and that's going to put a lot of people off just seeing stuff like that.
Sure. I mean, everybody who's in the chat has the facility to, you know, click these three dots. I'm not going to actually do anything to you, Bear. But you know, you can report them. So you don't have the same tools as I do, obviously, as the channel owner, but you've got various things that you can do. If you see someone in my chat or anybody else's, you can report them. You know, you click on the report button, and
you can block them too. So you can block them yourself. So it means that you don't see any of the comments that they say. So those three little buttons, the bottom section, it will say block. You click block, and then you don't ever see anything that person says again.
Well, that's strictly not true because it goes up the side of my screen.
Okay.
So that's not necessarily the case. Anyway.
Right. So here we all are.
Top quality connection you got there.
I said here we all are.
You've gone all roboty. Do you want to drop and rejoin?
Sure.
Swimming start today?
Yeah, I've got some. Let me get rid of that. Just let me find a couple of things that I want to show.
Hold on. While you're doing that,
I said, here we all are.
Much better. Much better.
All right. Just to fill in the gap for however long it took me to say, here we all are.
I think Ranty's going to show us something that he's captured in the last couple of days.
Crikey.
Other than his phone going. Suppose I could do some shout outs while we're waiting for Shane to get his stuff together. Jamaican Me Crazy, good to see you. David Reed, thanks for being here. Hogarth, thanks for joining our live show. Saucy London, sorry I called you Stacey. Mercury Messenger, thanks for being here. Tavis Cloud, thanks for being here as well. Brandon Toy, hello. Defund NASA, I reported the paedophile. Jolly good for you. Don't know what you're talking about, but happy days. Terry Davis, hello. Sam Scott, hello. Andres, good to see you. Pete Shea, woohoo, hello. Gandhi, legendary looming. Let's get this right. Legendary super looming perspective enigma hyena. Good to have you. Mong Patrol, hello. Nathan EO, good to see you. Is it Nathio? Joey, hello Joey. Happy to have you. Baron, Marcher Baron. Another evil sock. Let's get rid of you. XPOCZ, hello. Lair Bear. Sorry to use you as the example. Life's hard. Karen B, good to see you. Roland, hello there. Thanks for being here. Free Minded says yo. Yo to you too. Midi HC, hello. Else we got Alex, hello. I missed anybody? Mark Bacon Taylor, hello. Wiz Laws, new one on me. Nice to have you here in our live show chat. Thank you very much for being here. FE Viking. Bang globe bang tick. Indeed. If I talked emoji, I'm sure I'd know what you were saying. Goddess Switch Bella, hello. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. Lucid City, nice to see you. Colin, good to see you as well. Jose, woohoo!
I have a public apology.
Oh, okay. Well, no more shout-outs. The rest of you aren't important. Go ahead.
I have to apologize to Karen B because I was just making a side comment while she was doing her sunrise video and it was taken the wrong way. She talked about drinking her coffee black, and I made a comment that was just ambiguous, and so I just wanted to apologize to Karen for any misconstrual of my meaning.
I've literally no idea what you're talking about.
Were you watching her sunrise video this morning?
I watched yesterday's, not this morning, sorry.
Yeah, it was this morning's, so that's why it's... Anyway.
So what are you saying? You said something that could be taken as racist. Is that what you're saying?
No. No. Okay, so you said she was in the chat, right? So she can hear me apologize right now. Correct? Ay. Am I coming through clear or not?
Yeah. Keep lengthening out that
my
rope.
Hole.
Yeah, keep digging that hole.
Anyway.
Tap. Is this thing on?
Said that she drinks her coffee black, and I said, "Ooh, manly woman." That's all I said. So then she said, "Hey, I thought Plain Truth was supposed to be a good guy." So I was trying to redeem myself. And anyway, I'm sorry that I said manly woman.
It could be worse. You could have said that'll put hairs on your chest. Anyway.
I think that probably would have made more sense than just indiscriminately saying manly woman.
Lovely jubbly. Totally unnecessary. Probably made matters worse, but good for you. Right, you ready, Ranty? I can see you've got stuff on your screen. Do you want me to present you?
Yeah.
We can see your junk mail, Shane. Apply now for an Aqua Advanced card.
Yeah, that's just a promotion thing that they send up, to try and get you to get 20 quid off your order, which I don't really want. Don't want an Aqua card. Anyway, so this was the items that I've bought. We've got 2 Baxar Pro batteries to go for the Coolpix P1000, a SanDisk Extreme Pro, which has 128 gigabytes, obviously the Nikon P1000, and the remote control for the Nikon P1000. So the subtotal price was 1,120. Obviously, this is my order that I've placed it in, as you can see. And lastly, this is the confirmation email to say, etc., the order details, etc., from Amazon.
Can I ask a quick question?
Get it through. Sorry?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Last time we spoke, they whatever it's called, GoFundMe now or whatever, didn't send you all the money. They were just sort of sending it in sections. Have they sent you all of the money now? Say again?
No, I've still not had it all yet. It's in bits and bats. So it's like the first portion they gave me was £7.49 or something. The next one was, I believe, £79. Then it was a couple of days after that, I got an amount for £727, I think. So that's when I decided to actually just go ahead and buy these. So obviously it's coming in dribs and drabs. I think I had another £60 a day, so it's still not fully paid out yet. But anyway, they've been paid for, they've been bought. And
correct me if I'm wrong. The total raised, because I mean, yeah, it's got. I think you're keeping it open just till they've paid you out, which is sensible. But ultimately, you're not promoting it and trying to raise any more money. But the amount that you ended up on was pretty much exactly what the order amount was. Is that right, or just £20 under what you ended up spending? Is that right?
Yeah, there's not a huge difference. I think I've got a little left over, so I'll be looking to getting a tripod at some point. So I'm going to wait till nearer the time and then just see what tripods they've got available. If I need to put some towards, obviously, depending on what kind of tripod I'm looking to get, I'll try and do that.
The smaller the better, in my opinion. I know that there's some glorious tripods out there. I've sold a few when I was a pawnbroker. For some reason, I had a really, really posh tripod, like £500 or £600 tripod, or at least that's what we were selling it for. I've no idea what it originally sold for. Anyway, it was massive, and it wasn't particularly heavy because it was made of lightweight materials, but it was very bulky. And some of the ones that I showed you on eBay, the Manfrotto ones, they fold up incredibly small, and the most important bit is that you can get the legs to collapse so that they're literally 3 legs like all sandwiched together. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to sticking out with a bit in the middle, and they're very small, and I think that's the winner, because I've got several tripods, but the one I use is the one that I can just chuck in a bag, the tiny one, the Gorilla Pod or whatever it's called, because it's the most handy. So I think if you do buy one, try and get one that's as compact as possible, just so you're more likely to carry it around with you.
Okay, right.
Anyway, sorry, you carry
Well,
on.
I think so. So I went for the 128 gigabyte one simply because it'll be recording in 4K. So I have a 32 gigabyte one now, and essentially I can get at least a couple of hours filming with that. So if 128 gig, obviously it will use 4 times as much. So I should still be able to get the same 2 hours worth of filming on this one disc. And I've got a couple of batteries, because you find that the battery runs out before the memory card does. So having a couple of extra batteries will be good for going out and doing some tests. And then we've got the remote control as well, because if I do actually find something that I can zoom in and zoom out on, and I've got everything set up correctly, then doing it remotely should be a lot smoother.
Yeah, you don't have to lie down on the sand, do you?
Well, it depends where I'm going, to be fair. If I'm doing things on Blackpool Beach, then I probably won't be using a tripod. I'll probably be running from the tide. But if I'm doing things and traveling, and perhaps, like I say, going to Wales and things like that, then having the option of a nice tripod to look at distant mountain ranges and compare should be really good.
Well, I have to say 10 out of 10 for transparency, that you've shown us what you got and what you bought.
Yeah, no worries. There's nothing to hide. It's
That's good.
This is exactly what it was for, and I was very grateful that people decided to, help out with this. And,
have they given you an estimate of when it's going to be available?
I think it's released on the 6th. This is the item will be released on the 6th, so I'm assuming it'll probably get here the 7th or the 8th, something like that.
Of next month?
Of next month, yeah.
Yeah, right. Brilliant.
So,
Did
you
get any pictures of the camera itself for us to Google at?
Oh, I haven't got any more more images of that. To be fair, I know you asked me to do that, and I was lazy and didn't get around to doing it. But essentially, it doesn't look an awful lot different to the P900, to be fair, except that it obviously looks like it's got a different type of front. I'm just looking at mine now.
It's a completely new lens, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different type of lens. But I will be doing a live stream. I'll do a live stream when I actually take apart my P900, so that should be fun.
Will you do an unboxing? I've asked Dearth to do one as well. But it'd be great if you unboxing videos on new electronics get a lot of hits, and if you can surreptitiously, if that's the right word, hey Sleeping Warrior, if you can surreptitiously drop in flat earthy type lingo when you're unboxing it, you'll probably find that, I mean, I've put out a few unboxing videos, and regardless of which channel I put them on, their popularity, I'll get several thousand views on them just because it's a product that maybe people want to look up an unboxing for. So, you'll obviously have lots of videos with P1000 in the tag, so people will get to see this sort of stuff, the imagery that it produces, but not necessarily the camera and what's in the container, and you'll be one of the first to get it. So, you don't have to do anything, obviously, but I'd say you'd be well advised to do a P1000 unboxing video, because you'll be one of the first to get it, like as a consumer.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I will do. I will. And I'll do it, like I say, I will still also do my live stream taking apart the P900. So I'm sure a lot of the trolls will like to join and be hoping that I'll somehow break it. You know what they're like. But and then obviously I'll be modifying it to get it into an infrared. So
what we got on screen now, I've made it nice and big for the audience.
Okay, well, I filmed this morning. Basically, I went to the side of the mirror ball. After I'd done a calculation for the height above sea level, it was about 20 feet. The curve calcs, if you believe in the curve calcs, Nathan, you hate them. Almost 600 feet missing. Almost 600 feet missing. Now, these wind turbines here, the hubs on them are 322 feet. They're under 500 feet tall in total. Now, I'm just going to play a portion of the video. And you can clearly see these wind turbines. There is no doubt that you're looking at wind turbines. It's a lot clearer today. You can see it. Now, all of them should be gone. They shouldn't be there. But what you can also see is the fake waves. And I've said that many times before. And that's the mirroring effect of it's mirroring the sky down onto the ocean. So it's causing this mirroring effect. And that's what it looks like. It looks like they're actually fake waves, not real cresting waves. And that's all that's blocking out the bottoms of those turbines. But essentially, you can see them; they are there. They're not a figment of anybody's imagination, and they shouldn't be seen. It's as simple as that. In actual, on Peak Finder, I had to put an elevation I had to give myself another 70 feet in elevation to get something similar to what the mountain ranges in the background look like in comparison to Peak Finder from the mirror ball. So it's not adding up, people. You know, if you believe in the ball, your ball is looking straight at every single day.
We haven't, no offense, but I know some of the comments you've been getting recently. I haven't actually seen where you're standing.
Oh, well, you know, in
well,
this.
No. I don't know that you're at the mirror ball.
All right. Well, you will do in about when I zoom out. So I'll just get to the end of the video. So I'll just show it from me zooming out.
Hey,
so there's me zooming out.
Do you want to move your mouse? Just move it 3 inches.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And are those the Snowdonian mountains in the background, are they?
They are, yeah.
There's a mirror ball.
And there's the mirror ball.
Fair enough.
And what's more is I walk along the wall and I show you the tide in at the time. Now, the thing is, I've actually been to this place and done a measurement. It's on my channel. And where the water is right now, pressing up against those exact same part of the sea wall, it is only 16 feet beneath my feet. So the tide at that time is 16 feet beneath my feet. The wall is only 4 feet tall, and that's what I was resting it on. So I was able to get a very accurate 20 feet above sea level filming the Snowdonian mountains.
I like these because you've, like you say, I've seen you go down the steps with the tape measure, and you know you can't really argue with your elevation on these. So great, there's no ambiguity in that regard.
So yeah, so obviously you know yourself. I'm going to show you where I am. I am right next to the mirror ball. I'll do it in the same video, so there's no cutting and editing. You know, everything you see with me is very raw. It's very on the go. It's like I show you the evidence and I show you where I am, elevation above sea level. And I don't think many people really question it or argue it anymore because I am very particular with making sure that I'm as concise as I can be with all the evidence. And one thing I can say is that those wind turbines that we're looking at here, we should not see them. And that is a fact. If you believe you live on a spinny ball, they are loomed up from beyond the curvature of the Earth. That's what you believe. If you believe we live on a flat plane, you're simply seeing some miraging effects that are giving you the fake waves at the bottom that are blocking out the bottoms of the turbines because you're seeing the turbines. You shouldn't be there. But we know they're there because it's just what we see.
Awesome.
I'd be like, you know, I mean, I've heard also that there's some filters that I can perhaps get for the P1000 polarized filters. Now I've been told that if you put one on, it gets rid of this misty stuff, you know, so you can see a lot clearer. If you put two on, so one on top of the other, double it up, apparently it makes it look an awful lot. It looks like it's a daytime image. You know, you can see through all of this sort of stuff. So I'll be looking to perhaps get a couple of them as well, because obviously we do struggle when we're looking over water. So this misty effect, hopefully with a bit of trickery on the lens, we should be able to see through that. Same with the infrared as well. So when the P900 is modelled in, has the infrared filter on the end, then we should be able to see a lot clearer as well. But for now, this is the best I can get you, which is we're seeing the turbines, and we shouldn't.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Anything else you need to add to this presentation, Ranty? If not, I'll say a massive thank you.
No, I think that's it.
Kudos. Absolutely awesome. Well done.
Oh, except for the video. I'm putting the whole video up on my channel now. It's just finished uploading. So if you want to watch the whole of it, it's there. But it will be very soon.
Stick a link in the side chat of this hangout, and I'll post it in the public feed.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything from you, Anthony. How are you doing? I'm doing really good. Thank you very much for asking. That's all right. Anytime. It's good to have you on the show.
That sounded just like him then.
It didn't it?
I didn't realise I was on mute, speaking to myself. Did I miss housekeeping?
Yes, you
we did, but I'll do it on the next one as well. So if you've got a housekeeping answer, just keep it to yourself for the next half hour.
What did Mark answer to the question? Any
Oh
sounds
God,
of
you won't take the subtle hint. Just leave it till next show, please. I beg of you.
Why have we got to wait? Why can't we do this now?
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do?
I just want to know what Mark's view is on gravity.
I knew it. So it's going to be the 5th show in a row on a gravity subject. That's what we're getting here, isn't it?
Arwin started it, and Mark's carrying it on. So
No, I'm not. I'm not carrying on. I'm telling you what I observe and my conclusions. Now, if you're unclear about anything, you've got Tuesday's show, 2 shows, and Wednesday's 2 shows. You can always go back and listen to them. All right.
That's a very Arwin-esque answer. You can go and look at my hangout. I've answered it very clearly.
More questions and answers, if I'm honest, because he keeps saying that there's this force thing, but if I'm not allowed to talk about it on this show, I'll have to just talk about flowers instead.
Okay, Sunshine. Thank you.
So what do you know about Newtonian telescopes then? Subtle.
Who? Me?
No, Mark.
What do I know about it? Not much, other than you can get greater distances or a greater magnification because a mirror can have support behind it, where with glasses at some point the glass starts to buckle under its own weight.
I see. I mean, I don't know how good or bad the telescope that I got was, but it often took my breath away what you could see through that little eyepiece. Just sensational, some of the stuff you can look at. Mostly the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have any adapters or a camera, so this picture of the moon that you're looking at now is actually taken with an iPhone 5S, I think it was. Just a camera phone, basically. So it's obviously not great quality, but considering that's a camera phone through a very basic telescope, I was quite proud of that. I also got some shots of, I think it was 3 years ago now, the lunar eclipse. The only noteworthy thing I can say, because other people got better images than I did, I got it going red, great, but was that the temperature dropped significantly as totality was reached, to the point where I had to go and wake my wife up, because I'm pretty sure it was about 3 or 4 in the morning that the totality came. Anyway, I was taking pictures happily of the eclipse as it came, and then as it reached totality, the temperature dropped massively and my fingers froze. I just could not take any more pictures, so I had to go and wake my wife up, and I'm like, I'm going to miss the money shot. Come on, you're going to have to operate the camera for me. I can't do it anymore. So she had to come down with warm fingers and actually take the final 2 shots that I did actually get of the eclipse. Like I say, that was about 3 years ago, and just before having my daughter, I had to part with the telescope. It's now at the mother-in-law's, so I haven't used it since, which is a bit heartbreaking, but there we go. It used to be sat where I am now, looking out the window, so I could just observe the moon as it rose, which was nice. I could literally just lean over and peer through, and I don't know, I miss that, if I'm honest.
So, I don't know. I really want to talk about gravity.
Man, that was like a 5-minute segue that I just did then. Pulled it out my ass, that. And you're just straight back onto gravity. That was a total failure on my part. Ugh.
Well, you know what they say with a dog and a bone. Stop it.
God. Okay, right. I'll do it. I'll take responsibility. So, what was it specifically about gravity that you had an issue with, Anthony?
Well, there's no evidence of it, but Mark seems to think that he feels it when he's sat on his sofa, and I'm curious as to know how he distinguishes the gravity that he feels over the density that he is. I just want to know where he draws the line.
I'll answer that question if you answer me a
Hold on,
question.
sorry, Mark. Really sorry. We've got a new guest. Are you doing Dare or something? I think it was. Can you hear us?
Hey, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, we
Yo.
do. Good. Very good to have you. I'm probably going to go on mute.
Do I need to mute or?
No. Have you got any evidence of gravity?
I have no evidence for gravity. Is there a topic right now, or can we introduce one?
You could introduce one. Nathan would be praising you if you did.
It's very related.
Go on.
Y'all were talking yesterday about the Cavendish experiment.
Yeah, and about how it's not current science for the word gravity anymore. But yeah, go on.
Okay, I was just I'm picturing it in my mind. I'm wondering, can you think of any bias that might be involved in that experiment? Some force that might affect the outcome?
Yeah, the baller himself.
Well, I mean,
Look at Sly Sparkane's gravity experiment that he did, the replication of Cavendish, and look at his bias that he's got in the experiment. He's got 4 styrofoam boards that are not part of the experiment, but for some reason he's put them in there and claimed that they would help you see the air resistance. Don't quite know how they'd help you see the air resistance, but that's what he did. So the bias answer to your question is probably the observer. Cavendish
right.
himself.
Oh, I'm wondering. I'm trying to figure out if I know the moon has theoretically a strong influence gravity-wise. If it pulls the oceans up, did they in any way account for this or any other possible?
Well, gravity seems to hypothetically count for everything. Gravity, the convenient excuse. Nobody can see it. Nobody but Mark can feel it, but we all think it's there.
So, what did you say about the moon and gravity? And
Well, we know the moon pulls the ocean up twice, right, a day.
no,
Well, we're told.
hold on. In some parts of the world, you have 3 tides a day. So, how do you
Okay, so how did they account for that? I just don't understand how that even, gets.
Well, you're making the assertion.
billed
I'm
as
just
science.
telling you that there's in some parts of the world 3 tides a day.
Some parts have one.
Yep. So, how
I
do
mean,
you
would
square
that
that
affect
circle?
the lead balls in any way? Would it?
Hold on. I just want to stick. Hold on. Let's just stick to the assertion you made about we know that the moon affects the tides. Do you now take that back because we seem to have?
I said theoretically.
No, you said we know that. That was your exact phraseology, actually.
In theory.
Sorry,
from their
that's not what you
standpoint.
said. You're now saying in theory. What you actually said was we know that the moon affects the tides. Now we've demolished that argument, and now you're saying in theory. So, if you're saying in theory, what kind of theory are you talking about? The colloquial theory or a scientific theory? Which one?
Gravity theory in general.
Sorry, the colloquial term or the scientific term?
Just the understanding that's a part of the gravity package. So I guess colloquially.
So meaningless then, non-valid, just made up stuff. Hi,
from
Michael.
from the gravity
Hold on,
standpoint,
just
or
one
from their
second.
perspective, the moon-
Just 1 second. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
Michael,
Hello.
Hello.
Good man.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So, when you say from the gravity standpoint, do you mean from the presuppositional point that we have gravity? That's what you mean, right? Within that framework of that presupposition.
Nathan,
Well,
Michael's got background noise and he's opened his gate permanently.
Yeah. Can you keep
Sorry,
yourself on?
I'll find out how to mute.
Just tap your phone if you're on a phone or tablet, and it should bring up the mute button. Brilliant. Thank you.
Can hear you. What were you saying, Nathan?
I have no idea.
Couldn't hear you.
Probably not very
His gate was
important.
My question is this, Nathan, okay? They state that the moon affects the Earth's tides through gravity,
No,
correct?
you stated that.
Would that affect the Cavendish experiment? Would it have any kind of effect on the results?
Well, we don't know
he came up
that
with.
has an effect on anything. So you're starting with the presupposition that it has an effect on the tides. We've now demolished that, and now you're going forward saying, well, given that it does definitely affect... No. What are you talking about?
Nathan, I'm playing devil's advocate here,
we've already
okay?
demolished your first assertion. So what are you doing going forward with this assertion and this presupposition that the moon affects the tides somehow? I don't get it.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. If you believe in gravity,
Oh, right. So what we're doing is we're now having an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If gravity, then X, whatever you're about to say. We have X, therefore gravity. That's called a formal logical fallacy. It's known as affirming the consequent.
okay, that's not my question. My question is, if you believe the moon pulls on the ocean and causes tides,
Yes, that's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If you believe that this happens, then... Well, that's a formal logical fallacy. I've said it twice now. If you don't understand what I mean, I'll explain it to you. But don't just keep saying it. If you don't understand what affirming the consequent is, say, I don't understand what affirming the consequent is, rather than just repeating it for a third time.
I don't believe in gravity.
I don't
But from
care.
their perspective,
I don't
if
care
they
what you
account
believe.
for
I
the
don't care.
effect,
I don't care. You've made an example twice, and twice I've said you are affirming the consequent.
that was not my
Hey, Jimmy.
intention.
Right, okay, but
But
do you know
that's-
what do you know what affirming the consequent is?
I think so.
Okay, fair enough.
So, the answer to your question is: did Cavendish? Does the moon influence the Cavendish experiment or not? The answer
Yeah, does it
is
make them
we have no
illegitimate? You're saying no?
Saying I don't know.
Okay, I was just trying to get his perspective on if it has that much pull, would it affect the lead balls in any way and come up with some invalid results, basically? Did they account for it in any way?
I don't know. I don't know enough about that experiment to know whether that particular point was dealt with or not.
Anthony, I think Travis has got his mic open. Did you want to say something, Travis? Hello, Travis.
Travis, will you mute your mic?
No, I wanted to say something.
Oh, sorry, it's
go
very
ahead.
noisy then. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I had to get things situated because my Bluetooth wasn't going to give me enough audio for you guys. I mean, what we're discussing again is a variable that we cannot control, nor can we discern, nor can we measure. So, as Nathan pointed out, it's just something that you would be assuming. It's something that you would be inserting, that you would have to simply. You can't even deal with it. So Cavendish obviously tried to control the situation as much as he could by viewing the experiment from a distance with his telescope through a hole in the shed. So as much as he tried to control all of the variables. I mean, I think that's as much as we can say.
Can I play catch up and ask why you know the moon doesn't affect the tides?
Sorry, we didn't make that assertion, so do you want to ask Laird?
Oh, but you're saying it's not true.
Sorry, I don't have to prove something else, though, do I? If I say the moon is controlling the tides, I have to prove that.
Okay. It would be helpful if you said why it wasn't.
Sorry, why it's a negative? Sorry, why would I have to prove a negative? Prove to me that I have not got unicorns in my shed. Can you prove that to be false?
No.
Oh, right. So I've
I'm
got
just saying
unicorns.
it's
So hold
from
on,
a standpoint
hold
of
on,
moon.
hold
Right.
on. So you can't prove it to be false, therefore I've got unicorns in my shed, correct?
If you say so.
No,
But
not
wait.
if I say so. That's utter nonsense. So when you say that the moon is pulling, it's the same. It's just nonsense. Okay?
Not much logic there, but go on.
What do you mean logic? Prove the moon's pulling something right now.
prove the moon's not pulling something.
No, prove I haven't got unicorns in my shed. It's the same logic. If you make an assertion, you have to damn well prove it. Don't tell me to disprove it. Prove it. Those happy, happy unicorns that you believe in, because I said so. Right? So you believe things people say, right? I say the moon pulls things, you believe me. I say I've got unicorns, you believe
me. I'm just asking, if you say that the moon doesn't pull or you don't want to prove it, then you haven't got much of a leg to stand on, surely.
Sorry, I'm not asserting it. This is where I get wound up with you ballers. So, I'm not going to do it 3 times. You're going to now repeat after me. Okay, Jimmy, you bonehead? If it is my assertion, it is my responsibility to prove my assertion, not your responsibility to disprove my fairy tale fantasy about unicorns.
Okay.
Okay, good. So don't again demand that I disprove some fairy tale fantasy. You have to prove it. So if you want to assert the moon's pulling something, you better damn well prove it to me, not just assert it and then tell me I've got to disprove it. Okay?
Okay.
Jolly good. Is that the end of that conversation then? Unless we have a presupposition that the moon's... I was just literally starting a sentence. Thank you, Jimmy. So we had a long pause, then I asked a question, or nearly did if Jimmy didn't interrupt me, which was, is that the end of that conversation then? Unless we accept a presupposition that the moon's pulling, this argument ends, does it?
Okay.
Now I'm asking a question. God's sake.
Okay.
Try and open your ears, Jimmy. I'll repeat it. Given that we have destroyed your fairy tale fantasy, is that the end of this conversation an example about gravity? Or do you have more?
No, that's the end of the conversation.
Excellent. Win for Flat Earth again. More heliocentric nonsense smashed into the ground by globe heads. Hooray! Where's the decent people to represent this argument? Sorry, let's just get it straight for the audience. We've just demolished a massive chunk of heliocentric belief. And this guy on the panel, Jimmy's like, yeah, so what? Where's your decent champions of the globe? Where's someone to... Excuse me, Jimmy, shut your mouth. Yeah? You just did a very terrible job for your globehead compadres. Terrible. Where's the champions of the globe that can actually put up a fight and convince the audience that we haven't just got fairy tales and fantasies equivalent to unicorns? Why haven't we got decent champions of the globe? Sorry, I still haven't finished my sentence, Jimmy. Why are you so rude? That was a question.
Compared to you or just in general?
That's a question to me. You haven't answered my question. Why are you so rude, Jimmy?
I wouldn't class myself as being rude.
No, you keep interrupting me. You keep interrupting me. So that's the end of the argument, is it? Bit of semantics about who's rude. That's the best you've got, is it? This is the champions of the globe. Amazing.
Let's not push it. He's not really a champion.
No, that's my point. Where are they? Where are the actual champions? The people that could put a decent argument together? Where are they?
I guess they're all out pushing their lies. They must be like Jehovah's Witnesses, where they go out and like knock on doors and stuff like that. That must be what they're doing. Because they don't come in here anymore, Nathan, because they say that you're too rude to them.
I'm too rude. Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Kind of my point, but yeah.
Sorry, that was your point rather than an excellent proof of gravity and the moon pulling tides, right? Just talking about who's rude. I hadn't finished my sentence, Jimmy. And again, you were very rude and started talking before I'd finished. So, you haven't got any examples of gravity or the moon pulling oceans, so now we're going to discuss who's rude. This is great globe representation, Jimmy. Excellent, excellent work.
Thank you.
Hey, Nathan, can I ask you a question?
Sure, you can do what you like.
What I should have said is if we assume, let's just assume that the moon does pull the tides with gravity.
No, let's not, because again, for the third time, that's called affirming the consequent.
I realize
No, you don't understand affirming the consequent, so I will now explain it, right? If P, then Q. Q, therefore P. If I eat 10 hamburgers, akin to if the moon has gravity that's pulling the tides, but we're going to use hamburgers, not moon pulling tides. If I eat 10 hamburgers, I'm full. Now, I'm full is Q. Yeah? So if I eat 10 hamburgers, I am full. And then you flip it around. I have eaten 10 hamburgers, akin to the moon has gravitational pull, because we're going to just accept it, according to you, right? If I've eaten 10 hamburgers, right, then I'm full. So I am full, therefore I ate 10 hamburgers. Even though I'm full of beer and I haven't eaten a thing in days. I'm starving hungry. In fact, I need food. But my belly's really full. Not from hamburgers. So if we assume gravity, then your logical fallacy starts there. We have to affirm the consequent. Affirm what we start off by believing and assuming. So I've explained it in full. Will we get another fourth attempt at you saying, no, if we just accept gravity to begin with... No, for God's sake.
Nathan, I agree with you 100%.
So is that another end to a globe conversation about the moon's gravity?
I'm not arguing for the globe. I'm arguing against it.
Oh, really? Well, why are we starting off by assuming
experiment.
why are we starting by assuming it has gravitational pull?
If they assume it, would it not affect the results of the lead ball experiment done by Cavendish?
No.
Who cares? Who cares?
The argument is nullified because it begins with an assumption. That's what Nathan wants you to understand. It doesn't matter what the explanation is. Once you begin with an assumption, it nullifies.
No assumptions are made.
I get it. I
Here we
speak
go.
logic.
This is where the conversation stops.
Well, reality is unfortunate for flat earthers, unfortunately.
Yeah, and evidence is unfortunate for ball earthers.
Not at all. Evidence is
not
supports.
this guy.
Evidence is
The whole
wonderful.
body of science
We
supports.
love evidence.
And
We
there's
absolutely
no
embrace
evidence.
evidence.
Hold on. Do you have a point that you wanted to make, Rumpus?
Well, I was just answering
No.
the point about the moon doesn't affect the Cavendish experiment because it doesn't move around very much during the duration of an experiment. Therefore, no, it does not affect the results of the Cavendish experiment.
Sorry, the Cavendish experiment is not an experiment. It doesn't have a valid hypothesis. We went through this yesterday on several shows, Rumpus. How many times have I got to say that it's not a scientific experiment, right? The observed phenomena is conjured within the test itself. Within the apparatus is conjured the observed phenomena.
Absolutely not. You don't understand it then.
Okay, start with the observed phenomena. What's the observed phenomena?
The deflection of the torsion bar.
Oh, sorry, that's something that we see in the natural world, is it? Torsion bar deflection.
What's
a bit
that got
like
to do with anything?
scales.
'Cause
Sorry.
You're saying we can't use any
Excuse me.
instrumentation. This is
Excuse
ridiculous.
me.
You're saying
me.
that every single experiment that
Excuse
uses
me.
instrumentation can't
Excuse
be
me.
used as an
You're now
experiment.
talking
You're an
non-stop
idiot.
again, Rumpus, because I've
Can I
talking
jump
non-stop.
in?
Why are you interrupting
I'd
me,
like to jump
Anthony?
in.
I'm not. I'm interrupting Nathan.
No,
You're
and it's-
right.
to me,
well,
it's
you
Travis.
asked me a question and I answered, and you immediately interrupted me. Can you stop it? I don't interrupt you.
Rumpus,
Fair.
I'll control the hangout, right? You don't have to tell any of the other guests what to do, okay? You just need to
Well,
worry
you don't
about...
tell them. They don't. keep
You're
you
now
under control, and you
interrupting
don't
me,
keep them under
Rumpus.
control.
I hadn't finished my sentence, Rumpus.
Okay, you ask me
So-
a sentence, then we'll take turns.
No,
How about
don't
that?
tell me when I can talk. It's okay, I can decide that for myself. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Right. You don't have an observed phenomena.
Yes, we do.
What's the observed phenomena?
The rotation of the torsion bar.
That's the test. That's the experiment. You need to start with the phenomena, not start
The
with the
phenomenon is
experiment.
the rotation of the bar.
Can I jump in?
Okay.
Okay. The rotation of the bar is a part of the experiment. The rotation of the bar, therefore, has to represent reality. So what in reality do you have to justify the rotation of the torsion bar?
Gravity. The attraction of the two masses together cause a rotation of the bar. Very simple.
What in reality can you point us to where you have two objects of mass attracted to each other in this world?
Cavendish experiment. Or yourself.
Oh, wow.
You are attracted to the Earth.
Kick him off, man. Kick him off.
No.
Oh, my word.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. I mean, you feel the force of gravity on your feet. But if you wanted to test an experiment and quantify what happens, the forces. You generate an experiment to do the same, to do a test to test what you feel and experience, what we see every day. You some sort of imbecile.
Have you got any proof of the molten iron core?
That's a bit more difficult, but we know that because, I mean, you're familiar, Ranty, I hope, that when you put a current through a wire, it generates a magnetic field. Are you familiar with that idea?
I believe it. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be true.
Okay, you sound like you don't know. Okay, when you run a current through a wire, it generates a magnetic field. So any movement of electrons generates a magnetic field. So any metal, it doesn't have to be iron, any metal that has a current running through it will generate a magnetic field. So it doesn't, the Curie temperature is absolutely irrelevant to the, in fact, we know the fact that it can't be anything to do with the Curie temperature because it changes, it flips around. The magnetic field of the Earth flips around every 50,000 years and it moves around, which suggests it is the result of a liquid changing its direction. And there's a current going through this liquid, and that's what generates the magnetic field. It's nothing to do with paramagnetism or diamagnetism, whichever that Anthony thinks it is. It's to do with a current flowing around in the core of the Earth, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's iron. It could be copper for all it matters. All it matters. All that matters is you've got a flowing current, and that generates a magnetic field. Exactly the form of that is not fully understood. Like many things in the universe, we don't quite understand it yet, but we will, and we're understanding more and more about it as time goes on.
So essentially, you're in the same boat as we are, because let's be honest, we're still understanding our environment, and we're getting our answers weekly, monthly, whichever. And you guys are in a rush to push us for models and stuff. So when we're saying that we're still building, our position, essentially, you're doing the same. You're after 2,000 years of this, you're still building your position because you still don't have those answers.
We don't have all the answers to everything in the universe, no, but we contradict your answers.
So of course we contradict, because you believe we live on a sphere and we believe we live on a flat plane. What I'm saying is the globers are always on the offensive, asking us for our models and proof of this and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. And we're not allowed to say, like you just have done, that you're still working on it. You still don't have all the answers.
You are allowed to do that, Ranty. No, you can say you're working on things, but the point is the things you have said have been contradicted. So we contradict all the evidence and proposals you have made for models, whether what you can see, we can contradict with evidence.
Yeah, we can.
So
we don't. Cavendish.
Sorry?
Cavendish. There's no observed phenomena.
There is an observed phenomenon.
What was the observed phenomenon again? Sorry, just say it again one more time. The torsion bar twisting.
Yes.
So
that's how you accurately measure.
No, Rumpus, can we have a two-way conversation without you continually talking over me? Thank you.
I don't tend to.
Right. So the observed phenomena, which would be your dependent variable, is torsion bar twist.
Correct.
Right. And the independent variable is mass.
Well, there are three independent variables.
Right. I'll stop you right. Hold on. In an experiment, you have one independent variable, which is the sole variable. You're doing it again, Rumpus. One more chance, and you go.
Okay, no, you're right. You're right. I did interrupt you there. You're right on that one.
And you were incorrect. In an experiment, you're doing it again.
Sorry, I did it again. You're right. I did it again.
Yeah, shut up. In an experiment, you have an singular, independent, again singular, variable thing you will change. One.
Right. Okay. Can I go ahead now? Right. What you don't understand, I think, is that the force between two masses, there are three things involved. There's the two masses and the distance between them, and there's a constant, the gravitational constant. I actually have a screen grab actually here of that formula.
Sorry, you're just asserting that we have a gravitational constant now. Now, I understood that we were experimenting to find and validate gravity with the Cavendish experiment.
Right, if I can finish.
Hold on. The gravitational constant is extracted from the results of the Cavendish experiment, isn't it?
You can extract this. You can.
Sorry,
do that.
is it or was it not extracted from this experiment?
Well, the trouble is,
it's a yes or no answer. It's a yes or no answer.
It results in the product of the mass of the Earth and G.
So it's a yes. G was extracted from this experiment.
You can use it to do that, yes.
Yes, finally. Yes. Right. So we're not going to start with an assumption of G. This is the apparatus to, according to you, scientifically validate it. Now, as we have established, we have one independent variable. I know what your observed phenomena is, torsion bar twist, right? So your dependent variable is torsion bar twist. I need to know the independent variable, please. You still haven't given it me. You've told me there's 3.
Well, you can decide, because you could decide to change the radius. the
No,
distance
that's
between them.
not science.
Let me finish my sentence, Nathan.
Well, you're not describing science. I just need your independent variable.
You can decide which one to make independent. You can decide to change the mass or the distance between them.
Oh, well, then that's not an independent variable.
You can decide which you can choose.
No, you can't decide. Why do you keep asserting this? You are wrong. Either you
I'm
are
right.
you
Let
are
me finish my sentence,
No, I'm now
I will
talking.
show you I'm
No,
right.
I'm now talking, Rumpus. I would like to talk,
go ahead.
and you will now listen.
Okay.
You do not have multiple independent variables if you are performing the scientific method.
You can change the experiment to decide which one to pick.
Correct. So you can change it and have a different independent variable.
Yes, well done. You got there at last.
Hold, Rumpus. You can have a different independent variable, but then you would be using one and then the other separately.
Correct.
Hold, Rumpus. This is your last chance.
It's a simple stuff.
No, that means shut up.
Well, you haven't let me finish the sentence.
No,
yet
I
about
am
this.
talking. So, you can start with your single, sole, independent variable, the cause, singular, of the effect. It is at this stage, hypothesis stage, a presumed cause. And in your hypothesis, you will either validate that as the singular, independent cause of the effect. And if it is invalidated, the singular, one, independent variable, then you move on to the next one on its own, singular. So
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Well done.
Right. Now I would like you to give me the singular independent variable for the Cavendish experiment.
Well, I could pick on. I've got 1 or 2 to play with. Like I've got the.
Just give me
formula on the
one.
screen here.
Just listen. Give me one.
Okay. I can change the radius. Can be the one I'll pick on, because I could pick on 2 of the 3. One's the mass of the Earth. One's the mass of the object I've put on my.
Sorry, you're
torsion
still
bar,
not answering me. Stop.
Look,
Stop.
Let me finish my sentence.
No, you
Let me
haven't
finish my
answered my
sentence.
question. I've asked for one.
I'm going to tell you, but you
No,
won't let me finish
stop,
my sentence.
stop,
I'm
stop.
finishing my sentence.
Right, I'm just going to kick you out, Rumpus. Stop.
Well, you don't let me finish my sentence. You
It's
never
because
let
I'm
me
asking
finish
you
my
for
sentence.
one thing, and you're giving me
Finish your
3.
sentence.
Stop.
Let me finish my
No,
sentence.
not until you stop and listen to me clarify what I'm asking you for. I want the next thing out of your mouth to be one variable. Just one.
Radius, I'm going to pick on.
So, okay, in this hypothesis, if radius, then torsion bar twist is your hypothesis.
That's because, and this is what you don't understand.
Yes or no
is that
answer?
it's
Yes
the combination of all
or
those variables.
no answer?
And the particular independent variable to pick on is the radius, yes, but it's in the context of the other variables that you end up with a force.
Excuse
I've
me.
got the formula on
I've
screen
got the
here.
hypothesis of if radius, then torsion bar.
context of
Sorry, you're
being on
talking
the
over
Earth.
me again, Rumpus. Right. You're just going to have to go. You can't control your ejaculations.
Here's the formula for you.
You're
on
doing it
screen.
again while I'm telling you that I'm going to kick you out for doing it. You just can't
You won't
seem
let
to
me tell you
control
about the other
yourself.
variables.
Excuse me. I've asked for one. That would be
Yeah,
science.
I told you the answer. The
Goodbye.
radius.
Goodbye, Rumpus. You are intolerable
May I
because
ask
you have
a question
lost.
before you kick him?
You have got... No, you can't ask him anything. He's going because he can't help talk over me continually. So, I'll just point out the flaw. Rumpus wants there to be multiple variables. Rumpus has conceded. You only have one. You can have one and invalidate it and then go on to the next one, but he can't do that. That's not what the Cavendish is. It's not a valid scientific experiment. He needs multiple variables. He doesn't have an observed phenomena. His observed phenomena is not gravity, it's torsion bar twist. So at which stage in him detailing his hypothesis did he use the word gravity? He didn't. He used the word torsion bar twist. That was his observed phenomena. So we are observing the phenomena of torsion bar twist. Yay, Rumpus, well done for proving the cause of the effect of torsion bar twist. You complete idiot. So you're saying Cavendish cause and effect gravity science, right? No, you're causing the effect of a torsion bar twist, right? And what's your cause of it? According to Rumpus, radius. Yeah, that's what he said, because he's a dim-witted idiot with no scientific understanding. I had to take him through baby steps, using words like independent, singular, an, one, for him to finally concede that in science you have one. Now he hasn't got one, he's got lots, so he doesn't have science. Unlucky, Rumpus. Your little sideshow circus freak experiment proves absolutely nothing. Unless you want to say it proves torsion bar twist. Wow, that's useful.
And even if it does, it's not the definition of gravity as per current science.
Didn't use the word gravity. We're looking for the effect of torsion bar twist, apparently. Marvellous.
Nathan, would it not be better to let the person speak?
I did, and I asked him for an independent variable to cause the natural phenomena of torsion bar twist. This is, Jimmy, because you don't recognise it, the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard. It's not science, mate. It's, what's that word again? Bollocks. And I'm pointing out to the audience just how big a pile of bollocks it really is. A massive steaming pile of bollocks, mate. It makes no sense. His phenomena... excuse me, whoever's talking. It's not a naturally observed phenomena. It's torsion bar twist. Yeah? You want to look up what natural means? You want to look at what science means? You understand any of this, Jimmy? That's a question, by the way. You can now reply. You have my permission.
Not really, no.
Good. So you're useless in this debate then. Predominantly, you've said no. Now I'm replying to your negative reply. We predominantly talk about science here. So why are you telling me that I should let him completely spout bollocks when you don't understand what we're talking about?
I don't think you either understand what he's talking about.
Oh, I did. I understood and took him through in baby steps. Don't make assertions that I don't understand when I had to handhold him through independent variable being singular while he continually asserts that you need multiples of them. And then when I finally get him to concede, it's concessions because he has to. Because I say, yeah, you think you're being clever by saying you can invalidate one and then move on to the next, but not mentioning that. And saying, of course you can have many variables. Yeah, you test them one at a time, Rumpus. So we don't have lots of them. See, Jimmy here, though, is too thick to get it. Thinks he can tell me that I'm telling people off incorrectly. That's because most of the people who leave these comments and say, why are you talking over them? That's because I know more than he does. Yeah, I'm having to lead Rumpus. Because he's a retard. If he wasn't a retard, he'd understand that the Cavendish experiment is not scientific. Simple.
Is Jimmy a ball lover?
Probably.
You bet so.
Jimmy, can I ask you a question?
Go on.
This was the whole point I was trying to ask. If you believe gravity is pulling these two lead balls towards each other, correct?
I'd say so, yeah.
And you also believe the moon has a gravitational effect on the Earth, correct?
That's my understanding.
Do you think it's legitimate to dismiss the moon's gravity in that experiment? For instance, if the moon was lined up with the two lead balls at about a straight line, as opposed to perpendicular to them, do you think it would have any effect on the outcome?
Well, I think Rumpus said that it was the moon's movement wouldn't have caused that much effect on the experiment.
Is it legitimate to dismiss the moon's effect as an experiment? In your opinion?
I'd say no. But why do you guys not believe in gravity?
There's no proof for it.
Sorry, hold on, Jimmy. I don't want that to slip by. So, do you understand the relevance of his question, Jimmy?
I did. Getting bored. Very relevant.
What was the relevance?
Let's talk about gravity. Means.
Yeah, just try and expand a little bit, Jimmy. Just try.
I
Out
don't
of
want
stone.
I was just wondering, why do you not believe in gravity?
No, you're now asking a question. I'm trying
Yeah.
to get it to the point where you actually understand how he's demolished your argument. So when he put it to me, I pulled it apart immediately. When he's put it to you, you've got a load of beliefs that you've got to work your way around, right? So what he's saying in essence is the gravity from the moon that you presuppose and want us to all believe is there and moving tides, right? Would that not also move the Cavendish experiment?
Exactly.
Therefore, proving gravity.
No, therefore interfering with the test.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's a question, Jimmy. So I'll say it one more time and I'd like an answer, not a question to us, an answer from you about your belief in this moon that pulls things like tides. Why would it be the case that you would use an apparatus, I call it a circus apparatus because I know it's nonsense, but why would you think that that wouldn't be interfered by the pull of the moon? That makes no sense, Jimmy, based on your beliefs.
Because it wouldn't be significant enough to warrant.
It wouldn't be significant. It's pulling millions of tons of water, Jimmy. Not significant. It controls the entire water on the earth, mate, according to your religious belief. You see how this ain't making sense, Jimmy? We're getting little pauses after I point out just how ridiculous your religion is. You think this light in the sky... Shut up. Shut up. You think this light in the sky, yeah, pulls all of the oceans. But when it comes to an apparatus that you think proves this pseudo force of gravity, suddenly that's not relevant anymore. Does not significant, right? That's what you've said. Not significant enough, correct, Jimmy? That doesn't make any sense, mate. It's batshit crazy, in fact.
What does cause tides then?
Sorry, Jimmy?
What does cause the tides?
Don't ask me something. Explain why your religion makes no sense. This moon's pulling all the tides, right? Just want to give a massive kudos to... What is your name? Is it Lairbear?
Lairbear.
Lairbear, my bad. So you needed a baller. So you needed a baller to corner.
Lairbear.
Yeah, so you tried this argument on me. It failed immediately for obvious reasons. But now you've got Jimmy on the ropes. Brilliant, mate. Kudos to you. Jimmy's religion makes no sense.
I was asking you to see how they just dismiss this huge force. It don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, Jimmy just says it's not relevant anymore, even though it's pulling the tides. This makes no sense. Your religion's flawed, mate. I don't get it, Jimmy. You're just going silent.
Well, Jimmy, can I ask you a question, Jimmy?
Depends if you're nice to me.
I'm always nice, usually. The big G, how many decimal places did Cavendish approximate it at?
No idea.
Or was it Newton that did it?
No idea.
Well, better get Rumpus back.
Yeah, Rumpus knows his stuff, but he gets muted and binned off without actually explaining himself.
Rumpus
That's because he won't do what he's specifically asked to do. He keeps wandering around.
He has to do it.
He needs to bullshit.
He actually starts a sentence off, and then
needs to bullshit people. He needs to bullshit people like you, Jimmy, about what pseudoscience is. He wants you to think his pseudoscience circus trick is science, and it's not. Because if it was science, it'd have a genuine observed phenomena, and you'd have a singular cause of the effect. He's got none of those things. It's just a circus trick. But you want him to explain it by obfuscation, which is to say, I say give me a variable, the thing you will claim is the cause of this effect being torsion bar twist. Oh my God. You don't recognise any of this bollocks. So I've got to be here to shut the guy up and point out to my audience very concisely that the man's talking bollocks. And why he's talking bollocks, Jimmy. Now, you don't have to accept that his stuff is scientifically invalid, just pseudoscience circus tricks. You can assume that I'm lying, and we need more talking over everybody and obfuscation from Rumpus in order to dig you out of this little hole. You still haven't given us anything about why the moon doesn't interfere with it. I can take it apart from the foundation, but you still want to believe it, even though someone else has come along and go, okay, believe your experiment proves gravity, not torsion bar twist. Just ignore that little detail, and that's the phenomena. Right? You can say it proves gravity. So why doesn't the moon's gravity interfere? And we get a whole protracted silence, then another protracted silence, then we get you asking us something.
Can I ask a question now?
No, we're not. We're waiting. Hold on. No, Jimmy. Just
Why
listen.
not?
Listen
Debate.
Everyone be silent, including Jimmy. I want Jimmy to listen very carefully. I'm going to say it slower, right? And at the end of this statement, Jimmy, I expect a response from you about what I say. So let's just clear up what's going to happen first. I'm waiting to round the show out. Yeah? So we're going to have a 10-minute gap to those in the audience. Jimmy, do you understand what's about to happen? I'm going to explain something, and at the end, I want a response about what I've explained. Do you understand that bit? So far, so good. Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Right. So in your religious belief of a spinning ball Earth with gravity and a spinning moon Earth around that spinning Earth, yeah, with gravity, yeah, why would it be that in the context of the Cavendish experiment, which apparently is proof of gravity, yeah, why would it be that the moon, which also has a gravitational pull big enough to move the entire oceans, right? Why would it be that that isn't affecting the Cavendish experiment? So first of all, do you understand my question?
I do, Nathan. Thank you.
Excellent. Now I'd like an answer, not a question, an answer.
Because I think my understanding is it would be a significant enough impact on the experiment, this isolated experiment.
Didn't hear a word of that. Can you speak up a bit, Jimmy?
Yeah, sure. How's that for you?
Much better. Can you tell me, why is the moon not affecting the test?
Sorry?
Why is the moon not affecting the test, Jimmy?
Maybe it is affecting the test, but it's not a significant enough effect on the test.
Again, I'll just say it once more. You seem to have ignored one of the bits of information. So the effect of this body, this moon, this solid thing that you think is in the sky, the light that we see, yeah, the effect of that, even though we should really establish cause and effect with science, but we'll just accept that it's got that effect, right? That effect is enough to move the tides. That's quite a significant weight, wouldn't you agree? Let's just accept whether or not you think movement of the tides is big or not. Hey, Sean? Oh, troll. Damn you, trolls. While the ball is on the ropes. So, Jimmy, do you accept that the tides are pretty heavy?
Go on then, yeah.
Right. So you'd need quite some force to move them then. Was that a yes? Yes.
Yes.
Quite a lot of force then, not an insignificant amount of force then.
Yeah.
Right. So you've just said the reason it doesn't affect the test is because it's an insignificant amount of force. Now you're saying it's a significant amount. There seems to be a contradiction here, Jimmy. This is taking a long time. Are you slow? No, don't answer that. Just tell me why the moon doesn't affect the Cavendish experiment.
How big is the water?
Don't ask me a question. Explain. I'll start again. I've got to keep the show open every time you do this, Jimmy. Just because you're slow. It's tedious for us and the audience. Very tedious. So, Jimmy, you've just said the tides and the forces that move them, in your religion, the moon, yeah? You've said they're significant. Moving that big old weight of the tides, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So your answer then is not that it's insignificant. Try again.
What's the mass of the water and what's the mass of the torsion of the balls in the...
I don't know, mate. This is your proof. Don't ask me about it. You tell me, mate.
Let me ask you a question.
I know you're asking me a question, but you don't answer my question with a question about your religion, mate. I'm asking you about your religious belief.
I'm trying to say it wouldn't have a significant effect because of the mass of the...
Yeah, I'll say it one more time.
Really?
Close your mouth, open your ears. I'll phrase it as a question, so hopefully it rewires your cognition. Are the tides being moved requiring significant or insignificant amounts of force based on your religious belief?
Significant.
Significant. Right, so we've got a significant force in your religion of the moon. Why would that significant force not affect the very sensitive Cavendish experiment?
Because of the mass of the objects involved.
Sorry, because of the mass of the objects involved, we've just established... Sorry, is the mass in the Cavendish experiment significantly more than the oceans or less than the oceans?
Less than the ocean.
So you'd expect that significant force to affect it more then, given that it's smaller than the oceans.
Surely the opposite, Nathan.
No, surely not the opposite. If I've got a massive boulder and I push against it, huge boulder, I might not move it at all. But if I've got a little pebble, my significant force can definitely move the pebble. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly, Nathan.
Right, so if we make the thing that's got to act on smaller, like the mass in the Cavendish experiment, it's going to have more of an effect then, like me trying to push a big boulder and then trying to push a little boulder. You understand that? You're not stupid, right?
I'm not stupid now.
Right, so it would have a significant effect on the test, would it not? So why doesn't it? It's another one of those long silences. I'm asking for an answer. You've danced around it a bit, Jimmy. You've danced around it. You've said it's not significant. Then we've established that it definitely is significant. And then you've said, well, the thing's too small. And then I've pointed out where your scaling's bananas and backwards. Yeah? Significant forces have more effect on small things, not less. So, we've got this still gaping hole in your belief of your religion that we have a moon that pulls things, and we also have a Cavendish experiment that proves gravity. So, what's with the contradiction? Why isn't the moon affecting the test?
I'm not saying it's not affecting the test, but
so it is affecting the test. Oh dear. Oh, that's bad news. Oh dear. Oh, well, if you're saying it is affecting the test, then it's not isolated properly. That's very bad news, Jimmy. So your scientific experiment's just completely fallen apart, then it's not fully isolated. Oh dear. That's bad news for your religious belief in it. Do you understand that, Jimmy? Bad news.
Do you want to run the show up?
Another one of those silences, or am I going to get an answer? There's a gaping hole in your religious belief. You're saying it does affect the test. That's bad news if you're claiming it to be isolated. Hello?
So it wasn't significant enough.
So it's got a significant impact on the test. Oh, that's really bad news then, Jimmy. It doesn't prove anything. It's just a circus trick. Oh my God. Is this sinking in? I've kept the show open longer for this to sink in. Eventually, I'm hoping we'll get to the point where you go, yeah, I get it, it's all bollocks, like I've asserted. Take your time, Jimmy.
So what was the last point, sorry?
Yeah, that it's all bollocks. It doesn't prove anything, it's not isolated, it's not science, it doesn't have an observed phenomena. Yeah, you're conjuring one within the test itself. And what you're observing, according to your idol, the rumpus, is torsion bar. That's what your observed phenomena is. Torsion bar twisting is the phenomena. So you're trying to prove the cause of a torsion bar twist in your experiment. You understand any of these things, Jimmy? Or any of this sunk in? That the Cavendish is, quote, bollocks? Or are you still going to say it's a proof of gravity? In our we trust. No? Yeah? What's the answer, Jimmy?
I've given you my answer several times. Where did you, your...
Don't ask me something. You've said you've given me several times. Just repeat it. What have you told me? That it doesn't have an influence when we've gone through having an influence? Say again. Say again, Jimmy. It's my bad. I was talking over you. My bad.
Okay, no.
Try and speak up.
I was just saying about it's not significant enough within the experiment. We're talking about two different masses.
Really? Oh, God. I've heard this before. So what you're saying you've told me multiple times I've gone through and you're talking over me now, Jimmy. You're talking over me, mate. Multiple times we've gone through and established that your excuse is invalid because we have a significant force that can move oceans and we have something that's smaller in scale. So it would have more of effect on it. Now you're going back to your position.
It would have less of an effect on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. It wouldn't have less of an effect. So if you... okay, so I've got a significant pushing force. I can push a boulder, right? Massive boulder, I can't push it no more. Tiny boulder, I can. So the smaller it gets, the more it is affected by the force. Do you understand? Buildings don't get blown around by the wind because they're big. Leaves do because they're small. So if we've got a significant force that can move an ocean, you would assume that same force can affect your test, Jimmy. No, it's not significant enough when it's a test involved. Right, Jimmy? Is that what you're saying? Because that makes no sense.
The greater an object's mass, the greater its gravitational force. Shall we
Oh,
carry on?
so we're begging the question. Oh, so we're not proving
okay.
gravity,
That's
Jimmy. I thought the test was to prove gravity. We've already got gravity, have we? We already know what it does before we do the test. So the gravities, like I've asserted already on this show, conjured within the test then, just like I asserted to Rumpus.
The greater an object's mass, the greater its gravitational force.
So you've already got gravity. Before the test, Jimmy, we're talking about the Cavendish experiment, something you think's proving this, but you're now telling me about. You're now telling me about what we've already got, aren't you, Jimmy?
That's just explaining my standpoint.
Your standpoint is supposed to be scientifically validated by this experiment. Now you're just telling me the result, like it affirms the consequent. What a shock!
Explaining my answer, Nathan.
No, you're not. My question is, if you assume in your religion that the moon pulls oceans and has a significant effect on them, why would it have a insignificant effect on the test? Your answer is because the test.
The greater its gravitational force.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Say that again.
I'm trying to do your voice, sorry, not very good. I'm actually quite good impressions, actually. But I do struggle with yours because I struggle to get the repressed homosexuality in my voice. But the greater an object's mass, the greater its gravitational force.
Sorry, what's the scientific validation for that statement?
Scientific validation for that statement.
Yes. What's the test that proves what you've just said?
Is it the Cavendish?
Oh, really? Oh, really? My bad. So we're going round and round in circles, are we? My God. My God. You are literally stupid.
Could I speculate further?
The biggest difference between you accusing me of having repressed homosexuality and me pointing out that you're stupid is that my ad hominem comes with an absolute demonstration of what I claim. Your assertion is just an ad hominem out of nothing. The most pathetic arguing technique you can use. When I call you stupid, it's after a cast iron demonstration of your stupidity. Do you understand how my ad hominems are different to yours, or not?
Not really, no.
No, that's because you're stupid.
No, is it no?
Yeah, it is. That's exactly why. Because you're thick.
Okay.
You don't even have an argument for my ad homs because anybody can go back and have a little listen to just how stupid you are. You know, this is what happens. This is why you're the best champion, presumably because you're a masochist. You just like me ripping you a new asshole. You just like me demolishing your arguments and going around in circles with me making you look more and more and more stupid over and over again with the same point. It's like, because you're in a position where you just must not concede your religious belief, you would rather be humiliated in front of several hundred people. I mean, to me, this is great. It's very entertaining for the audience watching a baller literally have it broken down to the most simplistic of childish terms, and they still don't get it, and they still reassert their position, even though it's literally completely balmy, arse about face backwards, makes no sense, has no relation to scale whatsoever, but they still assert it because they've got to. It's because they've got religion. That's it. They've got faith, so they've got to do it. Very entertaining, extremely entertaining. Ugh, what a joke. Go on, it'll
Is
be
it
the
all right
last.
if I ask Jimmy another question?
I'll be quick. We have to go very shortly.
No, I'm going to round the show out. There's definitely going to be a 10-minute break. You can ask the question, but you won't get a chance to answer it.
Jimmy, do you think if the sun and moon were basically linearly on the same side of the lead balls in general, do you think it then would affect the experiment?
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. Globeheads. If you like the show, though, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!